Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, everybody. Yes, live from New York City, it's the Ramble with me. I'm Alex. Wow, there he is. The one, the only, Albert Reynoso. Yay.
Hey, hi, Alex.
How you doing?
Good, thank you.
What's new?
Nothing much, really, I don't think.
Nothing happening in your life down there in that wonderful Florida? Gee.
No, not really.
Did you get any of that hurricane?
We got rain, but we always get rain in the summertime. Every afternoon it rains nicely.
Because we got the hurricane here. We got a lot of wind yesterday, you know.
Yeah, well,
Deb,
as long as you don't get the hurricane, that's okay.
Debbie, she was blowing no good.
Yeah. All right.
So anyway, you're feeling healthy?
Pretty much, yeah. Everything's good here.
Now you don't go to a doctor for checkups, do you?
I do not, no.
Because you figure if you don't go to a doctor, there can't be anything wrong with you, right?
Well, maybe there's something wrong with me, but if I don't feel it and no fluids are leaking, then I don't really need to go to it.
What was your saying? If
there's no pain and there's no blood, probably no reason to go to the doctor. I never went when I was younger. They never said, "Oh, you have to go for an annual checkup." For what? Why? So they can get more money?
Well, at your age, they want to start looking for a yacht.
Well, that's too bad for them then. They're not going to get it off me.
I mean, every time I go to my doctor now, he sees something in there that, oh, you better go see this doctor and you better go see that doctor, because at 84, they think, yeah, I'm going to die of everything,
No, you're easy prey. That's what it is. It's the medical industrial complex preying on the people they can prey on the most.
I mean, I wonder.
If you believe that any of these companies or any of these medical institutions are going to come up with a cure for cancer, forget about it. They want everybody to have cancer so they can sell their drugs to everybody to keep them alive on their drugs as long as they possibly can with cancer and with whatever the hell they can get.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, I wonder, like I had the prostate cancer, so they did the radiation, 2 types of radiation, and then I have the leukemia. Now, in the case of the prostate cancer, it really hadn't developed that badly. It was just there was a cancerous lobe, okay? In the case of the leukemia, this is something that they don't even say is, well, they say you'll die with it, not from it. Okay? So I'm wondering if I never went to the doctor at all, would I have died of either of these things?
According to them, no.
What do you mean, according to them, no?
They're the ones that told you that you're not going to die from it. You don't know any better.
With the prostate cancer, they didn't take any chances, man. They gave me the radiation, sitting there while this thing goes around and then zaps you, right?
Good money in that.
They zap you for about 10 seconds, you go home,
Yeah, okay.
and then I get the leukemia thing, and the doctor goes, well, we'll just see you every 3 months or every 6 months. And you have no symptoms, and as long as you don't have any symptoms, we're not going to treat it. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
So every like next time is 4 months, I go in to see him, and they draw some blood, and they look and see what's happening. And, all right, is anything bothering you? No, I don't feel any different than I felt before. And, that's it. So.
Have we reached the 5-minute limit?
What do you mean the 5-minute limit?
I'm talking about medical stuff, because I go out with a few guys every week or couple of weeks, and we go to the local brewery and we talk about stuff. And there's a rule: you can't go longer than 5 minutes talking about health or health care or anything regarding health or illness or sickness, because who cares anymore?
Well, you see, when you get to be my age, that's the only thing you have to talk about.
Well, then that's a very sad life, Alex. You should talk about other things and not just health.
Well, I would like to, but everybody else at the table talks about health, so, What
Well, I
health
would tell
plan do
them,
you
let's
have?
establish the 5 minute rule. That's
Yeah,
all.
and I've had cancer twice now.
Happy to hear it. Let's go for 3.
Yeah, right. Do I get a gold medal for that?
With the gold, silver, and the bronze. I'll put it on your tombstone, which you'll never get
Yeah,
either.
well, I think at this age that I'm at, there are several kinds of cancers you can get, and none of them are serious, They're all part of getting older.
Which is a great thing to talk about if you want to feel old.
Yeah, yeah. So, and you're getting older. You're what now?
Well, but here's another thing. Everybody's getting older, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So you're how old now? I keep forgetting.
62.
62. Okay.
Right. Able to get my Social Security and my pension.
22 years younger than I am.
Right.
Why are you even talking to me?
I don't know, but if you continue talking about health and
you're not
sickness,
going
all
to,
that,
right?
that's the end of it. Because as I said, 5 minutes. I give you 5 minutes. After that, it's got to end.
Well, I've always taken your advice. If it doesn't bleed, and what was the other thing?
If there's no pain or it doesn't bleed, there's no need to see the doctor.
Right. Okay.
And I'm not
I hope
talking
you
about
live a long life with that philosophy. What?
I'm not talking about discomfort. I'm talking about pain. Pain, not discomfort.
Well, we're at 6 minutes now. We're at 6 minutes, and we're still on the topic. So
let's move along.
Okay. Let's go to all the election stuff and everything. Are you excited about Kamala or Kamala? Yeah.
Kamala? Really? You can't pronounce it either? Why is that so hard a name to pronounce? Why is it so hard? Kamala. Like Mama, but with a K. Kamala.
Kamala.
Right,
Okay.
there you go.
I didn't do the soft A. I did the hard A. Kamala.
Well, learn it the right way. Everybody says Alex and not Alex.
Kamala Harris.
No, it's not Kamala. It's Kamala.
It's Kamala.
Am I excited?
It was easier when we had a guy named Barack Obama. Okay, that was easy.
They're all easy. Names aren't that tough. All you have to do is learn it, and you'll know it forever.
Okay, Kamala.
That's it. Done.
Okay.
If you can say Tim, you can say Kamala.
All I care about is I know how to spell her name, and I can see it on a ballot.
You'll see it on the ballot.
So are you excited? I mean, there seems to be the Dems are on a sugar rush right now.
They're not on a sugar rush. They're justifiably optimistic about the change in what has happened. And there's nothing sugar rush about it. There's been a drastic change in the party. There's been a drastic change, certainly in the ticket. And by the way, I have never, and for those who don't know, I'm an independent, not affiliated with either side. But I have to say, I have never seen the Democratic Party so together and so right about the message that they want to give.
Right.
Which not only includes being able to push back against the opposition very effectively with simple words, but also discussing issues consistently over and over and over again. And that there's a groundswell for this change almost immediately is not surprising at all. They're doing a great job.
It's amazing, actually, and
is.
they've hit all the right notes. It's positivity, joy. It's everything we've needed for, oh God, how many years in politics since Obama?
Well, if you look through your whole life, you can say that this is the way it should have been. This is the way campaigns should be, where you give all the information and you're able to put up a good fight, which they are very much able to do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
Very.
But I mean,
it is the most interesting.
It's a nice positive message, and there's a lot of hope and joy and all of that. And after what, all the years of Trump, okay, it's got to be 10 now, at least, that we've had him on in our presence, on our radar. It's so nice to not have that. And also with Biden, you had kind of a tired old guy. This is very refreshing politics, And the Democrats, who were about ready to commit suicide rather than go ahead with the election, I think have a great new renewed hope that they haven't had in years. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
I've never been concerned with, and I didn't like it during the Obama campaign with hope. Hope is useless. Hope goes nowhere. What you have to do is what's being done here. Find the best person to do the job.
Yeah.
And run them. And
Okay, that being the case, how good do you think she is for that?
I think she's the most qualified person to do the job right now in this country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm an independent, but of the people who have their hat in the ring, that's the one that I think is the most qualified to run the country.
Would you have thought that of her 4 years ago?
No, because she wasn't in that position 4 years ago.
4 years ago, I didn't think she was a good idea for president. Okay, and now I think she's the best, as you said, the best idea for president.
So what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on to getting these people in office then.
Yeah. Now, as an odds maker, what do you give the odds of her winning?
Quite good.
Quite good.
Yeah.
75%?
I don't know what the percentage is, but it's certainly over 50%.
Yeah, well, the latest polls today have her in the lead by 5 points in Pennsylvania, and I think I saw Georgia there.
If the message continues, the numbers will go up.
Yeah,
they have nowhere to go but
and
up.
As long as somewhere along the line she doesn't fuck up.
Well, I don't think she's going to fuck up. I don't think that that they're going to stumble. Well, they may make a misstep, but it's not going to be a stumble where they're going to collapse to the ground. I think the opposition campaign has really more to worry about in that respect, and always has had that to worry about. And if you look at the last, I don't know when this is going to be on Gabnet, but if you look at the last few rallies and press conferences of Trump, it's just not working.
He's giving up.
That's not the guy.
He's giving up.
I don't know. Well, I don't think he ever gives up, but he's certainly getting angry, and he's certainly getting flustered by the whole thing. There's no question about that. Is he giving up? I doubt he'll give up. I mean, there's no reason for him to give up.
Well, he's giving up in that and this will probably be on next Thursday. Okay.
He may be out of the race by that time. Who knows? He may be out of the race by that time.
He could be out of the race by then. No, you got Walz, okay, who's the vice president guy. The only thing about him that bothers me, he's just so goody-goody, He's just not my kind of guy. I like a guy with a little more edge, but a guy with a little more edge can't win. So
can anybody win in your eyes, though? If he's too goody-goody, if he's not a good guy, he's a great candidate. There's no question about it.
He's terrific. He's terrific.
There's no question about it. And he is as good, if not better, than Shapiro, than Buttigieg, than all these guys. A good qualified field of people to be on the ticket with Harris.
And he's also
this guy
continuing
is just as good, if not better than all of them.
He's continuing that joyful mode while being a little bit of the knife in the back guy. I
don't see him as a knife in the back guy.
Well, I mean, he goes out there and then he calls out Trump and says things like Vance.
That's not a knife in the back. That's a punch in the face. That's something you see coming. And I don't think he's a knife in the back guy at all.
Okay, all right.
I'm sure when he's coming after you, you'll see him coming.
I agree with you that I came up with the wrong terminology.
Okay.
But don't I always?
No, most of the time, but not always.
Most of the time. There was one I got you on once. You just hated it. I can't remember now. There are quite a few things I've said that you kind of,
Misnomers.
misnomers.
Yeah, but I love you. That's why I'll tell you when I don't agree with you.
Well,
I
that's
don't
why I like working with you. You'll tell me that sucked.
Why not?
Although you never told me
Any suck
anything
in
I
life.
did particularly sucked. You seem to like what I did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I was good at it.
yeah. What, we were together 10 years? I guess one out of the 10 years was really good. So that's right.
1 out of the 10 years was good, and you stuck with me.
Well, it was a good paycheck.
It was a good paycheck, right? I love loyalty. Anyway, no, but that yeah, you always used to tell me when something was bad, didn't work.
I did that with everybody I've worked with,
Yeah.
and I'd expect the same back from anybody.
How many of them accepted that? I mean, I accept that. I like a guy who is somebody who tells me when I'm bad.
Everybody but one person I worked in that way with. And I don't say you're bad. I mean, and you can tell the difference between the people you're working with on how you can give that message. Some of them I would be able to say, man, that was just fucking horrible. Why did you do that? And they didn't have a problem with
Well,
that.
I was easy to work with, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I never
Well,
had.
yeah.
Did I ever
After the
have
first
temper?
year,
Did I ever have temper tantrums? Or anything?
You did have a couple of, how would I say this? Excited times, yeah.
Excited times? Is that how you put it?
With me a few times, with management a few times.
Oh, management, I always
be
did that.
expected.
Management, I always did that. I always like to drive management nuts.
You've got a contract, so it doesn't matter what you say to me.
Like, didn't we used to have to go in every morning and do a meeting with the program director?
Not when we were together, no.
Really?
No.
Oh, I know where it was. It was at Live 105. The program director brought me in every day, and I hated it. I hated it because, I'm sorry, how long have you been in this business? How long have I been in this business? And you're sitting here critiquing me? Plus, you hired me, you're paying me a lot of money, and you're critiquing me?
Well, it's an asshole move. Micromanaging like that is just an asshole
So
move.
finally, one day he said, I don't think we need to have these meetings any longer. And I said, why? He said, because I have no place critiquing you. You have the experience that I don't have. And I went, okay, that's honest. And we never had another meeting.
And how long did it take for him to do that?
About a year.
No.
But finally, he decided that it was a stupid idea. Number one, it was a stupid idea because he critiqued me and say, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. And then I'd go back in the next day and do everything he told me not to do. And I never took his advice.
Well, if anything, and I wouldn't even advocate this, if anything, he should have spoken to your producer or support staff regarding any concerns that he had, and not directly to you.
Right. Well, then at Sirius XM, we had a program director, and I liked the guy. I thought he was a decent enough guy. I liked him. But again, I didn't feel he had the experience to be critiquing me. On the other hand, I felt you had the experience to critique me. So I would always listen to whatever you had to say.
Oh, I missed that opportunity then, because I could have critiqued you a lot more. I
Really?
should have done that. Oh, yeah.
Well, what was the worst thing
And critiquing doesn't mean only bad things.
What was the worst part about my personality on the air and my handling of stuff on the air that you didn't like? Come on.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. That you allowed people to screen calls in the studio was one of the worst things. I think that's.
But I didn't do that. That was the setup by the
Yeah, but
company.
you allowed it, and I mentioned time and time again, this is not a professional way to do this, and yet they still.
Well, why?
do it.
You couldn't hear her. Her mic was off.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could. You can hear it in the background.
Really?
Yeah, I was the one that had to edit the stuff. I heard it all the time.
Yeah. Well, then you never mentioned it though.
I mentioned it many times. I mentioned it to you.
What would you have done? Put her in another room?
Yes. You don't have somebody talking on the phone while people are on the radio. That's just not right.
Then again, we didn't take that many calls, did we?
Are you kidding? You took calls constantly. Okay.
I'm 84 years old. I forgot it all.
Okay.
You know.
Well, you took a lot of calls.
I think it was a fun, 9.5 years, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
As
it was
long
just
as
hitting its stride, I think.
Huh?
It was just hitting its stride.
It was, wasn't it?
Just
was,
getting there.
It was better than it had ever been.
I think so. But
then they just cut us off at the knees.
Nothing lasts forever.
They fired him, too.
Listen, those people will be fired, too, down the road. It will happen to everybody.
Yeah.
So take solace
Well,
in
the
that.
way
Even
things
people up in management will get fired.
The way things are going in this business, there's a good chance they'll get fired the next time the stock goes down. You know,
possible.
I mean, I look at these companies like Disney letting off 3,000 employees, and I go, I'm never going to go see another Disney film. Screw them. You know, the last thing you should do is let people go.
Well, in the case of Disney, I have to agree with them.
You think, why, you have stock?
I have a lot of stock. a lot of Disney stock.
No, because the fact is that if there's a problem with the company's not making money, it's not the fault of the people who are working there. It's the fault of the people at the top. You get rid of them first.
Generally, that's the smart thing to do. That's what I would think.
They never do it.
American business doesn't work like that. Capitalism doesn't work like that.
Capitalism sucks.
Well, no, capitalism doesn't suck, but capitalism in the form it is in now is a very bad system. That's my opinion.
I mean, I'm looking at the stock market every day because every day...
That's a mistake as well.
Well, if you don't look at it, it will probably get back to wherever it was eventually. You know?
Yes, it will.
But I mean, I invested all my money. You know, I got a lot of money, and then I cashed in a lot of money, and I put all that money, most of it except for about $125,000 of it, into stock because I couldn't stand seeing it sit in a bank, getting. I think I looked and saw on $100,000, I got $3.25. You know, I don't want that. But now I'm losing money because I got it in the stock market. But that too will correct itself. So.
And how do you make decisions on what you're going to invest in?
I have a guy who does it.
Oh, okay.
A very good guy, supposedly. A guy Gary knows. He's doing it for me for nothing as a what do you call it? A favor to Gary, my business manager. And he just took it and put 100,000, left 100,000 in the bank, and took the rest of the money and put it into Fidelity accounts and into the federal account, okay, which will mature in 3 years, which I can take out at any time if I want to.
Okay, good.
So anyway, it's a good plan. It's a fairly good plan. The only problem is the stock market took a real dump in the last couple of weeks, and it's getting back up there. It's inching its way back. So,
but you better expect that because that's what it does. And it's specifically every few years there's an adjustment of some kind.
Well,
we haven't even had a big fall in a while since 2008. So
we just had one of about $1,500 total that it just belched, you know.
That's not a big.
But now we're up about 1,000, up to got about 1,000 of that back. But the thing is, Gary, my business manager, says, do not look at how much you've made and lost. He said, over the long run, you're going to make money. You know?
Yeah, don't look at it until you need to cash it out. That's when you look at it.
I just saw the most wonderful thing. In back of you is your cat, and all I can see is the cat's legs, and the cat went for a stretch.
Oh yeah, there she is.
And I love that with cats. Yeah.
She's a big stretcher. She's a big sleeper and stretcher. She is a cat.
Cover that background because otherwise I don't have any light on you.
Okay.
But anyway, so I mean, and I think, overall the economy's okay. It's not terrible. If you listen to Trump, it's horrible. It's the worst it's ever been.
Totally failing economy like we've never seen before.
There you go. The best impression of Trump.
No, not really. But the character is there.
I love. He's a cartoon.
If he were, it might be funny, but he's just not. He's just not. I don't even know what you would describe that as. It's not a cartoon. It's not a caricature. It's not a comic figure. It's just, it's a sad.
You know what it is? It's a doddering old man.
But it's not. And by the way, why do more people call him Don Old? Because now that he's the oldest guy in the race, Don Old should be his name.
He's the oldest man ever to run for president.
Right. So let's call him Don Old from now instead of Donald. Don Old.
And he is, I think, his brain. We thought of, Biden's brain is going, and I think he was having problems. He was having real problems.
And there's no reason not to think that at that age.
But Trump has the same amount of problems that way. I mean,
he's had some problems before going into this decline in mental capacity. So that kind of adds to it.
Oh, I just looked.
The things that he says are real or true in any way, that just starts the problem. But the fact that his mental capacity decreases is another.
Way over time. We ran.
Oh, well,
we're into 26 minutes now.
Oh,
well, let's call this quits, and we'll do another one. And I'll talk to you soon, like about a minute and a half, but about a week or two for the other people out there. Bye. That's Albert Reynoso, folks. Bye, Albert.
Bye, Alex.
Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yes, thank you very much, Albert. That's an old interview, in case you didn't suss it when you were listening to it, but it was. And we were, because we were talking about the stock market while Biden was still president. And I was complaining about it. Oh, boy. Anyway. Drink a little coffee. Try to stay awake. I had a doctor's appointment today, my yearly. And he checked everything out. He did a full thing on my heart, and he does what's it? It's not a cardiogram. It's where they do a sonogram of your heart, and they like to, and I'm fine. According to him, in most of what he has seen today, I'm just fine. He says, you're going great. And I told him I'm a little lightheaded when I wake up for the first 6 hours of the day. And I said, I think it's because of my pregabalin. He said, yeah, that's what it is. And, he checked everything that he could. And he said, everything's moving along okay. I'm not in bad shape. So I guess I'm going to live forever. I guess that's the newest thing. But we'll think about that later. Then tomorrow I have my root canal, my second part of my root canal. I just hope that that's the only part of the root canal that I have to have. That's it for the root canal. Because you know what I hate about root canals? It's not that they hurt. They give you the Novocaine, you don't feel a thing, right? It's just boring. And you sit there, and she's going, and I told her the last time I was in there, I said, I don't mind root canals. The only thing is they're boring. She said, you think they're boring for you? Think about me. So I went, okay, that's fine. Anyway, let me bring everybody in here. There they are. There they come. Oh yes, we're slow. Oh, we got a decent bunch here. Boy, it's a little warm in here tonight. Am I gonna have to turn on the air conditioner? I hope not. Anyway, hello to Jeff. Can you hear us, Jeff? Yep, you're fine. And Kevin, you're there. Are you okay, Kevin?
Check 1, 2.
Yeah, he's there. And oh, Charlie.
Yep.
Just because I'm awake doesn't mean I'm ready to do things. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, and you're home. Did you break up with the girlfriend?
No, I was umpiring tonight.
You're what? Are you umpiring tonight? Okay. All right.
I'm not going to go over there all dirty and dusty.
Oh, I see. Well, you could shower and then go over there, you know?
But then I'd miss this.
Hmm?
But then I would miss this because
Oh,
I
then
just
you would,
got home.
oh, I see. Okay. Does she get jealous that you talk with us every night?
No, she's great.
Is she asleep by then?
No, she's working her puzzles or whatever she's doing.
Working her puzzles? What puzzles does she work?
No, she does mahjong. She does crossword puzzles. She does Sudoku. See, that's why I fell in love with her. She does Sudoku. And
Yeah, I don't know about Sudoku. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do Sudoku. Whatever. Anyway. So, but I do crossword puzzles.
yeah.
I do them. I do them when I'm on the toilet. And
Well,
then all of a sudden, after a while, I forget how much time I've spent on the toilet. My leg falls asleep, and then I can't get up.
Yep. Been there, done that.
Yeah, so I got to be careful about that. I got to be real careful about that.
I
But
like
anyway,
your new intro.
what? What do you mean my new intro?
The new intro to the show
It's
is
only-
an old intro because it mentions Skype.
What?
When I called in, when I was listening to the show, when it switched over from it said call Skype or call this phone number.
What?
Sorry. I'd never seen that before on this show.
What do you mean you never saw what on the show? Does anybody know what he's talking about?
Nope.
I missed the intro today.
Oh, you missed the intro. Well, the intro to the if I shut it down and turn it back on, the intro to the show, well, it probably doesn't do it now. But the intro to the show said to go to Skype. It wasn't Steve Fox's voice.
Yes, it was.
Not for me.
Well, I don't know. The only thing that we run really is the animation of me with Steve Fox's voice there.
Yeah.
It wasn't there tonight. That's all I know.
When it was there tonight.
Okay.
Did anybody watch the very beginning of the show?
No.
No. Okay, so nobody sees the opening. Let me see here. It's not this one that I played, no?
Now, in its 11th year, this is
That's the only thing he does.
I know, but it wasn't that. It mentioned Skype or dial a phone number. And I'm like,
Oh, that may have been a promo I ran. I think I was maybe running an old promo, maybe?
yeah, maybe.
That could be. Yeah.
Okay.
Which one was that, I wonder? That was just a promo. That was
The
an
one that
audio
has Skype
promo.
in it.
Huh?
The
Well-
one that has Skype in it.
Well, we still have a Skype
Okay.
number. Well, or is it a Skype finished with now? No, it's still got another 2 days. So
Oh. All right.
I don't know. I'll have to go find that. I have to change all these promos anyway. I've got to do some work on that.
I used to listen to
I'm
Steve
just
Fox's
too
show
lazy.
on-
To show you how lazy I am, that was an old Albert because he won't do things with me anymore. And we were talking about the money I was losing in the stock market, and Biden was still president.
Yep.
But, so I've got to go back. I've got to start doing some work in here. I'm just getting too lazy.
One of the things that I used to like to do is I would get on GabNet without the show, and I would click the little thing for Steve Fox's old school radio. That doesn't work anymore.
Working fine.
It does work.
It's working fine. Comes automatically on. You have to turn it
Yeah.
off.
Oh, well, on mine it says buffering and it just goes to
Well,
nothing.
that's because you're
That means it's
buffering.
buffering.
Oh, okay.
You gotta wait a minute.
No.
It'll come
In
up.
fact, Steve said to me he didn't know if it still worked. I talked to
Oh.
him a couple of weeks ago, and I went and I tried it, and it worked just fine.
I tried it a few minutes ago and it worked fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Carter interviewed comes on, you got to turn that off, and then Steve
Yeah.
comes on, you got to turn that off.
Yeah, yeah.
You just got to give it time to load up.
Okay. Learn something new. Thanks.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Call me if you need anything else.
yeah. No, but you were probably listening to all the things I was running at the beginning of the show, and I think I decided I was going to run something I hadn't run in a while, which was the. That's not it. I'm trying to figure out which one it is because I'll get rid of it and make sure I never do it again,
Never.
ever, you know. But I've got to start. Well, wait a minute. You say it was Steve's voice?
Was not Steve's.
Oh, it was
voice.
not Steve's.
It was Albert.
It was
Albert, and it was talking about Skype, and said if you can't get through on Skype, dial this number.
Well, both of them run. I mean, it's Steve and Albert in the very
Yeah.
beginning of the show.
Right.
Yeah, but I can't
It
remember which one that is. Which one did I run tonight? There was one that I ran that I hardly ever run. And it was one that said Cabinet Reasons Celebrity. No. Cabinet.net. No, I don't think that's it either. I'll go back and listen to them tomorrow.
Sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you.
I don't care. I don't care.
I don't either. I just thought it was different. I never heard it before.
Yeah, well, you've slowed down the beginning of our show.
Because you had a lot of good stuff to talk about, I'm sure.
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really, except, going to the doctor today,
Bring it on. Tell us about it.
No, it was fine, Just
Okay.
came out okay. He said, I'm fine. I mean, I do have the, he does say you do have the leukemia and you did have the prostate problem,
Right.
He said, but outside of that, you're in great shape. He said, there's nothing there doesn't look like there's anything there that's wrong currently. So,
Good.
I'm just tired all the time. That's all. And tonight I want to go to bed early because I have my, what do you call it, tomorrow. So I won't be able to do, to post, what's her name, Amy Manuel's show tonight, mainly because she goes over now. And when I'm trying to go to sleep, and tonight I really want to go to sleep. So as soon as I'm through here, I'm going to sleep. Hell with it, Poster show tomorrow. But let me see here. So how you doing, Josh?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Yes? Anything new in your life at all that we should hear about?
Well, I've been working the last few days on some articles. I'm gonna get an article published in the Journal of the American Revolution. So, spent the last few days cleaning that up for them with some editing they needed done here and there, and some of the illustration work that went along with it. I had to do some work on for them, and then sent that off, and just waiting to hear when it goes when it gets published. And then I've been working on another one. They let me know.
Well, you're
that
so scholarly about all that sort of stuff. I think you should probably write something to Trump telling him what the Declaration of Independence is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not nearly as wise on that kind of stuff as he is.
Besides, Trump was there. He wrote it. It was a big, beautiful document.
Yeah, no,
so-
but he said, what did he say the other day? He got it all wrong. He said, there's the Declaration of Independence. He's got it up on his wall with little curtains, I guess, so he can close it at night or something. And he says, it's a beautiful document, It's all about us getting along and doing
All
this.
about
And-
seeing how I can fuck with it.
yeah, and he's describing what it is, and what he's describing is not a Declaration of Independence. You know, he had no idea what it was about.
Well,
Yeah, the declaration that wasn't really the get along document. That came before that. The declaration was the response to the olive branch petition that the king basically sent back and said, nah, so
No, but
declaration was the
yeah.
response to that.
Oh, yes, but he was saying that what was he saying exactly? The Declaration of Independence was just how we could all get along with each other and things like that. That was his description of it. You know what I'm talking about, Charlie? You heard it, right?
yeah, I saw that on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Boy, it's
I
great
didn't
to have
hear
the smartest man in the world for president.
it. Yeah, I didn't hear it, but that doesn't sound
I'll
like.
tell you what worries me about it, okay? This is the President of the United States. And kids learn in school what all these things are about. The Declaration of Independence, apparently he was out that day. And then he describes what these things are. And maybe some kids are going to hear that and get the misinformation and not get the proper sense of what history was.
I wouldn't worry about the kids. It's probably the parents too.
Trump sounded like
Probably.
he did doing a book report, but he didn't read the book.
Yeah.
No. And he honestly
Saw the pictures.
Huh? Well, and he
You saw the
honestly
picture.
believes that the pictures on the knuckles of that guy who was sent down to El Salvador said MS-13. And what it was a picture that somebody had handed him where they had literally taken a font and put each of those over the knuckles. Okay? And he thinks that that's for real, that says that he's part of MS-13. But he doesn't realize that those letters were put on there, and probably where he got this was somewhere off the internet.
Probably.
And then he's trying to tell this reporter from ABC, "Oh no, you're all wrong. You just don't get it. The MS-13 is right on his knuckles. Look at the picture." And the interviewer had to say to him, "That's like Photoshop. That's like a font somebody put on there." What probably happened, and why he believes that to be true, is he got this off the internet. And it was some,
Well, you got to believe everything on the internet.
yeah, of course. You can't believe anything the news people do, but you can believe everything that's on the internet. Yeah.
So it wouldn't be hard to get on the internet and type for a search tattoos of MS-13. And if it's not on the internet, some kind of tattoo that's common, the tattoos on that guy's knuckles probably were, just like you said, something done by AI or something
Well,
like that.
they showed pictures of his knuckles when he was arrested.
I know, but how do we know if it's even him?
Wait a minute. They showed the knuckles as he was being arrested. His hand was in handcuffs and the knuckles were there. And the knuckles just had pictures on them. Where what they thought was an M was marijuana, a marijuana leaf.
My hands, when they're handcuffed behind my back, are not like this. They're upside down.
Whatever.
Yeah,
what
I'd
I'm
like to
trying
know
to
why
know,
they
what
had
I'm trying,
something
what I'm
different.
trying. Are you listening to me? You're getting like Trump. Listen to me. Whatever, they had a picture of his actual knuckles that were taken when he was arrested, and they did not have the numbers on them. They only had a marijuana leaf, and I can't remember what the next thing was. And then there was a cross, a religious cross, and I'm trying to remember what the other knuckle was. But never anywhere were there letters and numbers, And he thought they were for real. The man is moronic.
Yep.
America, if you're listening to me and you're going, "Oh, these guys are just hating on Trump," he's stupid, folks. I guess I don't like stupid people. It bothers me. You know, it takes so little to be intelligent, actually. You know, but to be stupid, boy, that takes no work at all. Anyway,
All right. Well, that was a good show.
okay, well, thanks for being here tonight, everybody. And we'll see you again tomorrow, you know.
I would love to know if that's an AI of the Knuckles, just to go on with that for a second, or if that is somebody else's.
It's not an AI. It's an
Well, that's
actual. If
really
I took
AI,
a
you can-
picture of his knuckles and then I got some fonts and I put MS,
Photoshop
13.
that stuff so easy.
I would just type it. I would just literally type it onto it.
So a lot of gangs don't just put MS-13 on their knuckles.
What
They
I'm
pick-
saying is the
use
MS-13.
code.
The MS-13 was in letters that were
I
so
saw it.
clean and
I saw it.
you know.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
You know-
I've arrested MS-13 members. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of their tattoos. I haven't seen all of them, and I don't know all of them, but
You
you
like?
know, I saw that picture and I said, this proves nothing.
Yeah. No. Of
Could
course.
have
it
been an MS-13 member, but who knows who? You know?
Were those things on his knuckles? It was a marijuana leaf. It was, you know, something else. A cross. There was a cross there. There was a, you know. And I'm trying to remember what
To you
this.
and I, that doesn't mean anything other than to you and I, it means what we see. But to a gang, it may be gang colors, and they don't just write MS-13 on their knuckles. They write in cryptic stuff a lot of times. You know, some of their face.
If you saw
tattoos-
this, there's nothing there that looks gang related.
No, it didn't. I'm agreeing with you. I saw it. It didn't look. It looked like BS to me.
Yeah.
But if Trump believes it, it's got to be true. You know, I agree with you. I mean, I don't think that this was a MS-13 member. I don't think it was this guy's knuckles. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what the hell? You know. I wonder if those
Have they
guys.
brought him back yet? I haven't followed.
No.
the news.
No.
No. Not even
So-
close.
So Trump's not even listening to the Supreme Court that ordered him to bring him back.
Oh,
right?
he won't listen to the court. He said yesterday, I think it was, I don't care what a court says, I won't do it.
Why don't they arrest him?
That's how people get
Because
put-
they can't arrest him. The Supreme Court has said that in the pursuance of his job,
Yeah, I know.
eh,
He can do
la-di-da.
anything he wants.
Let's think about that.
Hmm?
Josh, can they? And what can they do on something like that if he continues to defy court orders and judges' decisions? And what happens if it goes up to the Supreme Court? And he says, no, I'm not
You'll
going to do that.
ignore that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think what the Supreme Court said in that case was they, if I remember right, it's been a week or so, they didn't really order him to do that. They just didn't set aside like the lower court's finding or whatever. So it hasn't gotten quite that direct yet.
Yeah, they told him to
But-
facilitate getting him back.
Right, and then I
Which is
think the
basically get him a bus
administration,
ride.
I think the administration appealed and asked the Supreme Court to step in, and I think they basically said no, which is the equivalent of, saying no, that order still stands. We're not
Yeah.
going to do any kind of injunction or anything. So, and basically then in the absence of a contravening order, the original order stands, and the government so far has not taken care of
So,
that task.
In this case, the lower court order is just as good as the Supreme Court order, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, because they haven't they haven't overturned it,
Right.
or given it a stay, or set it aside, whatever.
But
you know,
now,
one
the
of
question,
various things
the
they'll
question
do.
that came up. Hi, Brian. Hi.
I
Yeah. The question that came up was, can a court have him arrested, or under
there's no-
under the Supreme Court's ruling, is he immune from that?
Well, the Supreme Court doesn't rule to have people arrested.
No. What I'm talking
You know,
about is
but,
the thing where they
you know,
said that he had immunity as president from any kind of conviction while he's in office, as long as it had to do with his job.
well, they said, in the official duties uh, of his or of a president's, job and their official duties, they have immunity. Now, is that an official duty or not? What is an official duty and what isn't will always have to be like a case by case basis, no matter what somebody says. Whoever is in power is going to say, "Oh, it was an official duty."
Well, he may
And
believe he's
will
immune.
have to be adjudicated.
He may believe he's immune.
Well, I'm sure he does, right? Anybody would claim that,
Well,
given
he's trying to, yeah.
given that, ruling. I mean, any kind of ruling like that for anybody would give them uh, the reason to say, "Oh, I have immunity." I mean, you hear the jokes all the time that people from other countries illegally park in New York and say we have diplomatic immunity, right? I mean, because that's their thing, So they're always going to say that they have immunity, and it will be case by case on whether they do. I mean, the court will issue whatever order, based on the cases that come up before it. If there is ever a case where the court specifically says, this has been appealed through lower courts, the administration has done X, Y, and Z. We set aside the lower court's ruling and we order that X, Y, and Z be done, and then the executive branch not do X, Y, or Z. Just whether they come out and say it or whether they just don't say it, and nothing happens. The situation doesn't change. Really haven't had that happen. When that happens, that's not necessarily a violation of a law. So there's not really a law broken there, to arrest someone. It's not as if DC police or federal marshals go in there and arrest you, because what crime are you charged with? The remedy there is not necessarily a criminal prosecution. It is, the remedy there is for one of the other branches, in this case, the legislative branch, to use the power of the check that they have on another branch, in this case, the executive, to take care of it. And that can be combined with the check that the people have. I mean, if there is outcry that it doesn't get done, and people actually care. Now, I'm not talking about a few people or what, I mean, a lot of people make it clear to the legislative branch, this is not right. We do not like this. If 2 days later there are polls that come out that say 85% of the people say this ain't happening, and if the election were tomorrow, you're all out, legislative branch will use their check. And, I'm sure they would send somebody up there and they could say, you're going to do this or we're going to impeach you tomorrow and you're going to get convicted and we're going to throw you out. I mean, that's the remedy, because that has to come up through
Can we do that real fast?
Well, you can do it as fast as they want. There is no...
Brian has joined us, by the way,
Brian.
and I don't know about the rest of you, but what is that horrible piece of art in back of you?
Which piece of art?
No, that
The other
one.
one.
That one. That it looks like a fence with a bad barn.
It's
I
the
know,
eye
it's-
chart. It's the eye chart. You look at that,
I'm not- that's
distance
the-
eye chart.
Is that a Quonset
That
hut?
machine.
What is
It's
that?
a barn. It's a barn. It's a barn.
Well, wait a minute. Is that a picture in the room you're staying in?
Yes.
You're paying for that room?
Yes.
That's interesting. I like how they keep it nice and straight.
Yeah.
No, I think it's my phone.
Well, still, it's a
Lens.
terrible piece of artwork.
What am I gonna do to get down?
What?
Yeah, my bathroom is right there. My kitchen's here. My bed's there, and my car's parked right out there. It's so nice.
Ain't
Luxuries.
Ain't separation great, huh?
That's post separation.
Well, how long do
You
you?
parking your McLaren there?
No. No,
No way.
no, my McLaren's in storage.
Oh.
Like it's always been.
Can I ask you, what is the name of the place you're staying?
It's not a sponsor of the show, but it's the America's Extended Inn.
America's Extended Inn? I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like
Around
so.
the country.
Yeah, because there's so many tech companies here. You know,
Mhm.
people stay here for a week or two. You know, doing work here, and then they fly back to wherever they live. Yeah,
A lot of corporations rent it.
yeah.
Okay.
Just like long term. So they have laundry facility. They have some office areas. You could have meetings and all that stuff. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, and I have like the corner room on the first floor, and there's no one on one side of me. And the front parking, I have a parking spot right out here, so I feel like I'm at home.
But it's not a suite or anything.
No, it's not a suite.
No.
Not
Like
for
I said,
$48.
How much are you paying and how much are you paying a night?
Bathroom,
Mhm.
bathroom, kitchen, bed, TV, and my car's out there.
Oh,
So
okay.
My company I'm working for right now is a mile and a half down the road right here.
Oh, okay.
So it's very, very, very convenient.
Yeah. But so are you looking around for a house?
Yes. Yes. I have a townhouse that we're putting an offer on that I really want. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Still in California, it's Bay Area, Silicon Valley. It's over $1 million just for a townhouse. But it's a very nice townhouse.
$1 million for a townhouse.
Yeah.
It's pretty expensive here. I mean, this place I'm in here, if they were to sell this, or it would go up for sale, which of course it isn't, I would imagine would be in the range of many millions.
Wow.
You know. And some of the rentals here in Manhattan, I mean, some of the rentals in this apartment house, people right over from me, right on the other side of this wall here, are paying, I think, $7,000 a month rent.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah.
And they fixed it up to the tune of $100,000. So,
Yep.
you know, I mean, I would never do that here, only because I don't own it. And if I don't own it, I ain't fixing it up, okay?
Yeah, there's a townhouse rental. It's right near Adrian's school, and that one's like 40, but they're like 4,200, and 2-car garage because I need a garage. But
Is that rental 4,200?
that's a rental, yeah. But I'm holding off till next week, and I think this company's signing me. So if they do, then I'll get my loan to get the house. And
They're signing you on as a permanent employee, you mean?
yeah, the one that I've been consulting with, we had a meeting today with the CEO and founder, and so they're going to have a decision by next week. So we'll see.
Oh, good.
Well, maybe they'll buy the house for you.
Yeah.
No, they won't do that.
No, they're a company that they did a lot of respiratory tests, and they have a women's sexual health product. So of course they're going down because a lot of respiratory, people aren't getting tested anymore and all that stuff. So that part of the business is going down, but then their sexual health is actually, they have a home version now that just got approved by FDA. So they're trying to stay afloat for a little while and then get going again. So trying to help them with a lot of stuff.
Is it harder or just about the same in trying to find a job, considering the fact that this whole economic situation exists now?
So the tariffs, yeah. So the tariffs have been crazy with a couple of these companies that I've been talking with. Even Adrian's dance clothing person. So she was a dancer before. She had a dance studio, and then she says, I wanted to retire, but I didn't. She's older, and then she has a clothing place, so they get dance shoes and tap shoes, all those things. They have all the leotards and everything. And now she says, I have about enough supply to last through the end of the year, but if I have to reorder, all the stuff's coming from China.
Yep.
And so she says usually $45 leotard can go up to $60, $70. So she said I may just I may just ride this until I, take up all my inventory and then I'm done just because of the tariffs.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just waiting for things to get really expensive. Because, I mean, I'm waiting for it to happen because I want it to happen because I want people to get so pissed off that they can't stand. We haven't reached pissed off stage yet, People are going, oh, things are more expensive, but now next they're going to go out and want to buy an automobile and find out that it's going to cost them like $5,000 more than they thought it was going to cost.
Yeah, but I don't think it's just the automobile. People aren't buying automobiles that
No,
much.
I'm
But
talking about it's everything.
Look at
It's everything.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look at everything. Everything's just gonna go crazy. So we'll see.
I mean,
But
Container shipping is down 40% coming.
oh
in
yeah, they were talking about that. Yeah,
on Seattle, Oakland, and LA.
yeah. So,
and they have the reel or the little clip. They say there's some person from China, and they say, "Oh wow, you're gonna put tariffs on us? Let me see all my American stuff I own in my house." And they're like looking, they're saying, "I don't know anything from the America."
I don't think.
What about you Americans? What do you own? What do you own that's made in China in your house?
I have a studio here, and I'm looking at the entire studio, and I don't think there's a single item in this studio that was made in this country.
Yes,
And that includes all my Apple stuff,
Apple was made in two countries, right? India and China.
Well, yes, there is one product that is made in America. Their high-end Mac Pro, which is not what I have here. That mine's a Mac Studio, but it's as powerful as a Mac Pro. The Mac Pro is made, I believe, in Texas, but they are so few in sales that they can make them there, and not have to worry about it. So that's what we got going for us. It's not pretty, but I mean, I imagine Jeff can't name many things in his house that are, or at least where he is right now. If he looks around the room, can you find anything that was made here? Maybe the house, but certainly not the.
No, I agree.
His heart valve.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the heart valve's made in America, isn't it?
Right.
That's made in the United States.
Really? Oh, okay. So let's By the way, my heart's great. He checked my heart today. He did that. What's the thing they do? What do they call it when they check your? I have aortic stenosis.
EKG. Yeah.
No, it's not EKG. No, it's something else. It's like a what do you call it? It's like a sonogram of the heart. Yeah. And I can't remember what they call it now. And I'm fine. At least my heart.
Echocardiogram.
Echocardiogram. Right. You're absolutely correct. And it's it's fine. I'm fine. I mean, good shape. Watch, I'll drop dead tomorrow.
That's the messy thing about medicine. You could come out of the doctor's office as healthy as could be, get in the elevator and have a stroke or a heart attack. There's just no way to tell.
Yeah. I just wonder.
You have outlived most, which is great, and you're fairly healthy other than a few hiccups. But you're I don't know. Your mind is very clear, that's for sure.
Well, is it?
I think so. I mean, there are times that you lose track of things, but I'm 20 years younger than you, and I lose track of things. So,
what the hell? Yeah.
What the hell?
So, I mean, I don't know where things are going, and I don't know how bad they're going to get. I mean, you got to remember, we're only how many months into this presidency? 4?
Only 100 days.
Huh?
Just only 100 days.
A little over 100 days.
Yeah.
But nobody could. By the way, on the on TV, nobody could seem to agree on when the 100 days was. Some of them were going on Tuesday. We're going, it's 100 days, and on Wednesday they were saying it's 100 days. And I think there are even some people today who were saying it's 100 days.
But he didn't need 100 days. Remember, the day one, the war is going to end.
Oh, day one, the war is going to
gas
end.
prices will go down. Day one, eggs will go down. Day one, remember, he just needed 1 day to do everything.
Yeah, yeah, and it's all been done, right?
Not.
The problem.
Nick, you know, he's a lying.
Apple was just on the news right before I got on the show. The CEO announced with the tariffs in the next quarter, not the whole year, just the next quarter, they expect to lose $900 million.
Yes, I saw that. That wasn't just recent news. That came out during the day.
I just saw it today.
During the day, yeah, he said that. And they are planning on making some of their semiconductors and stuff here in the United States, in Texas, but still going to lose that much money.
Yep.
All these factories take time to get up too. So,
well, also
they think everything's coming, everything's moving here, everything's moving here. We're gonna all these huge factories and stuff. These huge factories don't come up in a couple of months.
Listen, I don't think that it's realistic to say that all these people could build these new plants before the end of his term.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, you got to have the plans made for whatever you're going to build. Sure. And by the way, you know, do you remember what was it, Foxconn, the big company in China that, you know, makes most of this stuff? You know, all your iPhones are made at Foxconn. They, during the first Trump administration, said we're going to build a factory facility here in the United States, somewhere in the Midwest. I can't remember where. And Trump went out.
Taiwan Semiconductor.
No, it wasn't Taiwan. It was Foxconn. I just said Foxconn.
Wisconsin is what they were talking about.
Yeah, Wisconsin. And Trump went out, I think, and they had this thing saying, yes, we're going to build, and we're blah, 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 blah. And Trump said, how wonderful, you know, we're getting the Chinese to start building stuff over here, so we have stuff built in America. What do you think happened to that plant? As soon as they had that little get-together, you never heard about it ever again. It never got built. So, you know, I mean...
Well, Taiwan Semiconductor bought some land in New Mexico or Arizona and said they're going to build a plant here, too, during his first presidency, and they're still not here.
Right, right. They can say that all they want.
That's right.
And he can point to it, and you get these people to come out and kiss his ass, you know, but who knows? Speaking of ass kissing, one of the guys who was very big in the Trump administration is out the door.
Secretary of Defense?
No.
Waltz?
No, Waltz. And he is out because he was the guy who invited that reporter onto the chat on Signal.
Yep.
So he's out. But Hegseth is still there.
Yeah, except for Trump just wanted to appoint the guy that they took out to United Nations or something, the ambassador for United Nations.
I'm trying to remember what he was.
Waltz.
Huh?
Waltz is the guy's name.
Well, Waltz is out.
Right, except for Trump today said that he was going to put him back in to his cabinet as ambassador to the United Nations.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's going to put him into a different position.
I thought he was going to make him a, what do you call it?
Idiot.
Communication.
No, he was going to make him what do you call it? An ambassador to some country or something.
That's what we just said.
No, you said the United Nations.
Oh, sorry. That's what I heard.
That's what it is.
Boy, you're so full of misinformation.
Oh, I bet if you go back, I'll bet it says.
By the way, folks, if you're listening to this program and he says anything, Alan, Do not tell other people it's true.
Fact
Okay.
check it.
Fact check it.
I named it the cardiac scan that you couldn't name, and that was correct.
Yeah, well, that was very good. But it isn't a cardiac scan. Is it cardiac? Is it the term we use? Or a heart scan?
Well, heart is in your arteries. It's all cardiac. So
No, okay. Well, whatever. Anyway, thank you very much for that.
I'm not a doctor. I just play one on this show.
You constantly. Well, look, we lost our. Oh, Charlie just woke up. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
Bad day. Bad day, Charlie. But you got to do Amy's show next.
Yeah. Well, we'll do trivia or something fun.
Yeah. Do you think it'll keep you awake?
No.
Last night.
Or
Trivia. You guys do trivia?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's getting tired of talking about,
About
Trump, and I'm getting tired of talking about Trump too.
Let's do trivia.
Yeah, we could play trivia. Yeah.
Why don't they have something good go off, like another nuclear disaster somewhere or something like that?
Yeah, something happy we can talk about. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, your earphones,
muffled.
we can't hear you. That's muffled.
How's that, buddy?
That's fine.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Okay.
That would be no.
That would be a big no, right?
Give me your address, Jeff. I'll send you some external speakers to plug into your computer.
Now you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good. Okay. See? Forget about those earphones, because what they do is they default to the earbuds, and the earbuds don't really have good audio quality on them, except
Well, I
for
had a
listening.
bunch of very noisy people in the house, so I had to keep them in there.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, so what was my question? Oh, yeah, when Trump was president the last time, he kind of gave it up, what, after 2 weeks, 2 months, or and then he kind of
Gave what up?
he kind of stopped doing anything. He used to just stay home and watch TV.
He watched TV like 8 hours a day in the White House.
He didn't do as much damage as he's doing now.
Nope.
Yes.
He did not do.
But he tried at the beginning.
In the beginning, I don't know, what did he try? I'm trying to remember what it was. I mean, he was terrible. And it was a terrible 4 years, but it wasn't the kind of thing where we're saying, we got to go through with, the rest of 4 years of this crap. We just went, oh, God, he made another mistake today. He did this, he did that. But he didn't. Did you feel he was as damaging to the country? How about you, Josh? You feel he was as damaging to the country the first time around?
No, probably not. I mean, they weren't getting a whole lot done. They weren't too well prepared, and he had a lot of turnover in the first few months. He fired the last national security advisor after not even 100 days. Remember, Michael Flynn lied to the FBI and got charged with some crimes and got fired. So he's always having all these turnover problems and firing people all the time. It's a little surprising that people can't wake up to that. That this is the kind of behavior that you're going to get. I mean, how is America any better off or any safer if it can never keep a national security advisor for more than a few months?
But I just felt that I got along easier with that 4 years than I'm getting along with just the last 4 months.
Short memory.
I don't think he did as much damage. I think he learned how to do it. Okay. And he said, if I'm ever president again, here's a list of people I'm going to get even with.
Well, they weren't pushing for as many drastic changes, and there was no tariff plan the first time around, which, I've never understood why during, election season no one was really able to ask him,
Yeah.
wow, what is the deal with this? You had these same exact powers the first time you were president, and you didn't do any of it. I mean,
Let me
why
ask
did you
you.
go 4 years and not use any
Let
of
me
these?
ask you this though. I don't remember. Again, my memory's very short. But what was the composition of the Senate and the Congress at that time? Was it that he couldn't get a lot of this stuff done because he didn't have a majority?
Oh, he had total control the first 2 years.
Did he really? Just
It's
like
like
he
this.
does now?
He was going to build the wall. That he couldn't settle on that either.
No, but I'm still questioning how much, how much power did he have at the time? Did he have a Congress or a Senate that would back him up? And I don't remember. Do you remember, Josh?
I believe that they did, I think it was pretty close like it is now. I don't remember specifics, from that, 8, 9 years ago, how the entire election went.
But did he have a majority?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, at least in one house.
At least in one house, but we have both in the Congress and the House now.
I'm not sure if it was both or not, to be honest.
The House, we have the House, and we have this. He has the Senate now. And by the way, just to throw it in, he's got the Supreme Court. Although if he keeps not obeying what they say, he hasn't got them for long. And by the way, as we get closer to the midterms, you're going to start seeing a lot of these Republicans, jumping ship. Because they care about their own reelection back in their home turf.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And a lot of these guys are going back to these very hostile town halls. I mean, if I were a Republican, I don't think I would be holding a town hall. Would you?
No.
It's awkward for him. I mean, I occasionally see him on TV, and
now they're just yelling and screaming. Next, it'll be a lynching.
Doing their interviews they do with the networks and things, some of these Republican Congress people, and they look pretty uncomfortable, and they say things that I know that they can't believe that they're saying. I mean, the whole thing this morning, I saw a guy talking on CNN this morning, about the whole comment that he made about, maybe you shouldn't buy your daughter 30 dolls. You should only buy her 2 because they're just going to be more expensive and she'll just have to get by.
How many dolls? Anybody here have daughters? Kevin has a daughter, and Charlie has a daughter. Brian has a daughter. How many dolls have you bought them every year?
Hundreds.
This congressman is on TV saying, "Oh, well, that was just a joke. He wasn't."
Yeah, this is what they're doing with him now, though. Every time he says something, oh, well, it's just a joke.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You could, he was uncomfortable, and you could tell, because he's saying that was just a joke, and then he says, but it's so lighthearted. I happen to agree with him because if I buy my daughter that many dolls, she just leaves them laying all around the house, and I just end up stepping on them and hurting my foot like it's a Lego, and who needs that? And oh, by the way, he's the greatest president in the history of the world. And now they're using this line where they're saying he's setting up the economy to just take off like a rocket here soon. So, I mean, I think they all know they're at a point where the clock is ticking. They have 4 or 5, 6 months, and if the situation is unchanged or worse in 6 months, I mean, they know that the toast is going to come popping out of the toaster, and it's going to be black, and they're going to be like, oh, wow, I forgot the toaster was turned on.
Well, also, they can't. There's a certain point at which they will no longer be able to excuse this behavior, because people are going to start feeling it in a very real way. Yeah, and that includes people who voted for him.
He was just joking.
So the question is, how much longer, I mean, quite frankly, I'd like to get onto some other subject matter, you know?
Well, like I said, I finally got through with, the JAR, and, I got a couple articles I can publish now. So I've not paid too much attention to his day to day. I mean, I have the TV on from time to time, and I open up the newspaper and read the headlines, but I'm more than happy to live in another reality right now because,
But you knew about the MS-13 thing today.
you know,
You know,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm aware of
you pay
a lot
enough attention.
It's really by the end of the year, you're going to know what's going on because people are going to start bitching about Christmas and the shelves will be emptier and things will be costing more. It'll start and people are going to start bitching about it. And then come first of next year, I think the fire is going to be lit.
Do you think
Just
we're
gotta
going to
put more gasoline on it?
You think they're going to do a Black Friday sale this year?
I don't care.
You know?
Well, he already told a lot of people that it may be tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he didn't say that when he was running for president.
Nope.
It may
They
be tougher.
won.
They
It may
won.
be tougher, but it'll be Biden's fault.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard all their excuses. I mean, there was another one
Bullshit.
on TV that was basically saying, this is like we're like in the countdown phase before a rocket takes off. That's how they're describing it. And the countdown phase is really boring. All it is the clock is ticking and someone saying T minus 30 seconds and nothing is happening. But then all of a sudden the action starts and it's so, and that's what they keep saying. So it's like, okay, that's fine. You're right. Clock's ticking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The clock.
I mean, we'll see. If the rocket
See if you make it
doesn't
to
take
space.
off here pretty soon, they're already having problems. I mean, the approval rating's down to like 40%, give or take a
40%.
point or two.
39,
you
something like that.
Maybe it's 39 I've seen in some
Yeah,
I'm
places.
saying I've seen 39, 40, 41. So I mean, it's basically down to where it was his entire first term, which was representative of no Democrats supported him, no independents supported him. That number of that 37, 38%, that's his hardcore people that ain't leaving. They'll never go
Marjorie feels, and she pointed it out to me, I think he's got some mental problems now.
Yeah.
I mean, he may be in
Now?
worse shape than Biden was. Biden was just doddering. He's got, when he's doing stuff like this MS-13 photograph thing, that's just, he's insane. There's something medically wrong with him.
They're like drunks, Sometimes you have the drunk friend that just sort of sits in the corner mumbling and stuff like that. That's like Biden. Then you have the drunks that just won't shut up about stupid stuff. That's him.
Yeah, there are two kinds. He's one of two kinds of drunks.
I don't know the whole MS-13 thing. The only thing I saw was a picture, a meme of him golfing, and it had an MS-13 tattoo above his, above his butt. So I don't know what the thing is, but that's the only thing I saw today.
I love it when the memes start coming out.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, there's our little theme song. I thank you all so much for being here tonight. Jeff, good seeing you here. Good seeing Kevin with us again. Charlie, wake up. You got to deal with the next show after us, okay? And I imagine I'm going to have Alan make sure he stays awake. And thank you very much, Josh. We appreciate it. Thanks again, Alan. And thanks to you, Brian. Always a pleasure. Everybody, thank you so very much. Give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. There they go. That's the Citizen Panel for tonight. Amy Manuel is next with another Citizen Panel, and they will again be on Zoom. If you want to get her Zoom phone, her Zoom number to call in on, just go to gabnet.net. Towards the bottom of the page in the third column is my name and her name. Click on her name and that'll take you right there. I'll see you again tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.